No Fap is all crap. So I was addicted to porn for more than half my life. But I haven't watched porn in 2.5 years. Thankfully, I quit before the AI VR revolution because I'm gonna be real, 25-year-old AI version of Angelina Jolie would have fucked me up, man. I have tried No Fap countless times, but I've always relapsed. And if you're watching this video right now, you're probably in the same boat that I was in. So in this video, I'm gonna try my best to inspire you with my personal story and to give you practical steps afterwards on how to quit porn without discipline forever. So I'll always remember so vividly the first time that I discovered porn and wanking. I was in assembly line in grade 7. I was sitting with a couple of my mates, and the alpha male of the group, which I didn't realize at the time was the alpha male of the group, he was like, "Hey guys, do you guys know what masturbation is?" I'm like, "No, what the fuck is that?" He's like, "You know, when you touch your dick, you can really like make it feel really good." I'm like, okay, interesting. And he's like, "Yeah, next time you are alone, just think about your girlfriend and keep touching yourself until the white milk comes out." I'm like, "Shit, fuck, this sounds nasty. But does it make your dick grow bigger butt?" He's like, "Yeah, bro, yeah, of course." And I'm like, "Fuck, sold, I'm gonna fucking do it tomorrow." So that conversation must have happened on a Friday, because the next day when I had the opportunity to try was when I was at my parents' photo lab. They had owned a photo printing business. And guys, you never forget your first time, okay? You never forget your first time masturbating. You never forget your first time traveling overseas with the boys. You never forget your first time wasting your first ever master ball on a 117 level Zubat. I thought I was godly, so I caught it, and then I leveled it up, and I thought it was gonna go to 118, but it went down to 100. I was like, "Motherfucker! Fuck you, Nintendo, you piece of shit." Sorry guys, I don't know what came over me. I guess the inner child in me is still traumatized. But anyways, I had the tissues all ready to go. And back in those days, back in my day, 17 years ago, the only way I could access any kind of sexual content, because I didn't know how to get to those websites, was my phone provider. So I would click on the main website for the phone provider, and then there was like an adult section for 18 plus, right? I'll click on it, and there was a section where you could download and purchase sexy content. And there was pictures of women in their bikinis, there was pictures of women in white, wet t-shirts, and there was no videos, just pure softcore porn, right? And I would even purchase the pictures. I would just click preview, because I didn't have any card, didn't have no credit card or anything. So I just click preview, and it would load so slow. Even though it was probably 3.69 pixels, it would take literally 5 minutes to load a quarter at a time. So you would see the head first, and then you see the shoulders, then you finally get to see some boob action, and then some legs. So there was actually a crazy watermark as well. So the watermark would pretty much cover the whole picture, and you pretty much just see the logo. But I did not give a shit, because 13-year-old me, my imagination was through the roof, guys. My imagination was working wonders. And so my dick was harder than a freaking quantum mechanics equation even before I saw her upper lip. That's how crazy I was. And so I still remember that I must have grabbed my dick too enthusiastically, where I didn't even get to stroke or anything yet. And I started to already feel this overwhelming sensation. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was starting to shit myself. And so I just started to get past the point of no return, which I didn't even know about back then. And then it literally was like an erupting volcano, just, and I was like squeezing the tip so hard because I was freaking out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, this never happened to me before? So I didn't even get to really enjoy it. I didn't even get to enjoy the orgasm because the whole time I was trying to fucking wring that shit and trying to put a kink in the hose, in the fire hose. As you can see, I wasn't strong enough to stop that fire hose back then. And so it was just overflowing like crazy. I don't even know what the fuck would have happened if my parents came in at that point. I might have just thrown the freaking cum at their face and fled the country or something. That was the inception of my favorite pastime for the next 15 years. And I didn't know at the time, but now looking back, it was an addiction from the very beginning. Because I would spend hours and hours on end just to find the perfect Latina doggy style video. Shout out Bella Anderson. I would masturbate in public toilets. Yes, I'm fucked up. I was fucked up. I still am pretty fucked up. And sometimes I would even enroll myself in the cum Olympics, where I would battle myself to see how far I could shoot my future wasted generations. The first time that I discovered No Fap was when I was in a time where things were going downhill with me and my girlfriend at the time, because I just couldn't get my dick up anymore, because my brain was so infected with the abomination that we call porn. And so I started to objectify my first girlfriend, and I knew I had a problem. So I started seeking help. And this was when No Fap was everywhere on YouTube. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a go. Let me try it out. And I lasted like a solid 2 minutes. I couldn't force myself to stop doing this thing that I've been doing for 10 years straight already. So a couple years rolled by, and the most I ever got to was around 60 days. But as soon as I would be home alone, or I'd get really stressed out because of exams, I'd find an excuse to revert back to old habits. And I'll find myself on the websites, and I'll just be sitting there, feeling guilty, knowing that this isn't what I should be doing. I know at that point that I should not be watching porn, I should not be masturbating, I should not be wasting my seed, but I was still forcing, I was still trying to go against the flow to discipline myself into not watching porn. But in 2021, I had been pursuing acting for around 2 years at this point. And I realized that when I started to prepare for an audition, when I started to get into character, learn more about the character, become the character, I would naturally adopt the habits of the character because I was in the mindset of the character. So I didn't have to force myself to do the things that the character did. So I was a human being, I wasn't a human doing, right? And this was the power that I started to realize, whoa, a light bulb just blew up on the top of my head. Eureka! I was like, why don't I just use this in real life? This is when I discovered identity shifting. And when I identity shifted into someone that doesn't watch porn anymore, all of my cravings just turned into dust in the wind. And I just didn't need discipline anymore. No Fap is all about discipline. It's all about forcing yourself to not wank, forcing yourself to not watch porn. It incorporates the idea of human doing instead of human being, which is how we flow. How we flow is by being, not by doing, right? No Fap was still using identity shifting, but you were identity shifting into someone that doesn't fap. It's like someone that says, "Oh, I'm not a crack addict. I'm not a crack addict." And imagine going around to everyone telling them, "I'm not a crack addict. I'm not a crack addict." If you're truly not a crack addict, you wouldn't have to tell the world. And why would you want to tell the world that anyways? You wouldn't even have to identify with that. Because that goes to show that No Fap is still resisting the fapping. It's still identified against the fapping. And so what you resist persists, right? This actually ties in with law of attraction and manifestation and all that as well. Where when you want to create an affirmation, you don't say, "I am not sick. I am not sick. No, no, no. You say in the positive, in the affirmative, which is I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Because when you talk about I'm not sick, all your subconscious mind knows is the word sick. And so there's no emotion there. There's no connection with the health. Because you're not thinking about health, you're thinking about not being sick. And that's the exact same thing with No Fap. So it's almost 3 years now, and I have no cravings, not even when I see a hot chick on the street, not even when I see a hot chick on Instagram. And this is the true power of identity shifting, because there is no more resistance. You're just going with the flow of the universe, and it takes you on this current where there's no discipline needed, because that's just who you are. So you may be asking me, Mavericks, how do you identity shift? How do you change your mindset into someone else's? I'm glad you asked. In order to identity shift, you need to adopt new perspectives. And you need to tattoo these new perspectives in your subconscious mind. And then that's when your reality starts to shift. Because when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. There are key perspectives to change the way you look at porn in a whole different way. And the number one perspective, for me anyways, is that you gotta realize that porn is not normal. It's not normal to look at a screen, a 2D screen of pixels of a man having sex with a woman, and you're getting hard to that shit. That is not normal. Even if it's POV, when you see, it's like, oh yeah, you're the one that's having sex. That's not your dick that you see on the screen. That's some other man's dick. That is not normal to be attracted, to be turned on by watching a woman, a beautiful woman, get fucked by another man. That's the most beta thing you could do. I can't imagine anything else more beta than that, unless it's in real life. But the number one perspective is that that's not normal, okay? And people are going to tell you it's normal. People, your friends, even doctors are going to tell you that's normal to watch porn. There's two reasons. Either they're lying to themselves, or they haven't really thought about it hard enough. Probably both. The second perspective, and this is actually truth, you could look it up yourself, the porn industry does not give a fuck about all the children that are trafficked into porn. The little boys, the little girls. Do not be a part of that. Do you think Pornhub gives a fuck about the ages of the people in the videos? Do you think they really check? Do you think they have strict guidelines? Don't be a part of that. Don't be a part of this fucked up exploitation industry. That's number two. Number three is you'll never have a healthy relationship, a healthy, fulfilling relationship with an abundant, thriving sex life with a woman that you love. Because I didn't start to really pick up any momentum in my sex life with the people, with the women that I loved until I quit porn. So the first three relationships for me were horrible because I was always objectifying them. I was always trying to do the things that I watched in porn. I was trying to force that onto them. So I was projecting. But in the last two relationships that I was in, because I had quit porn, I was able to actually have real sex where there's a deep connection, actually have an outer body experience. And those were some of the best sex. Was the best, so far, best sex I've ever had in my life. Number four is, you feel guilty. You know deep down in your soul and your heart that you need to quit. Have you ever been in that position where you just ejaculated freshly and then you're just laying there because you're just so lazy and you just lost so much energy, you just wasted your seed, and then your computer screen goes on sleep mode and you see your reflection there, your pathetic reflection with the cum on your belly, and the cum is starting to get cold and crusty. And you look at yourself in that reflection, thinking, what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know you need to quit. You know that porn is not good for you. That's something your soul is always telling you. But you keep lying to yourself. You keep telling yourself, it's normal. Everyone does it. that comes to number 5. The fact that everyone does it is the reason why you don't want to do it. If you want to be in the top 1%, you got to do the things that the 99% are not doing. And let's be real, 99% of men are little bitches. 99% of men are watching porn. 99% of men are simps. 99% of men are not living their best life. 99% of men are not doing what they were meant to be doing when they were put on this earth. Another one is to be empathetic with these women. Because let's be real, they're not really enjoying the filming of these videos. Because a lot of these are like deep throats and all this kind of stuff where they're demoralizing the woman. It doesn't actually feel good for the woman. Even when the woman is being eaten out, it's not for her to feel pleasure, it's for the camera angle. Shout out to Sterling Cooper, he was the one that put me on this game, that so many of these positions are not actually enjoyable for the women. So not only empathize with them, but imagine that was your sister. Imagine that was your mum. Better yet, imagine that was your future daughter. Would you like other men to be watching your future daughter getting deep-throated? So if you don't want that to be done to her, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Because they say you should be the man that you would like your daughter to date. You should be the man that you want your son to become. So lead by example. Another one is that you'll have no motivation if you keep draining your balls. How do you think you're going to go get a girlfriend or get a wife if you have no motivation to go out there? Because you're tricking your brain to think that you've already gone out there and hunted for the woman. You've already gone out there to pursue the woman. Your brain thinks that it's producing that dopamine because you've already had sex with a woman, but really, you just wasted your seed into tissues. So, would you rather run away from a lion that is starving or a lion that have just had a buffet? Because you are the lion that's just had the buffet right after you've watched porn. So there's no incentive for you to go and talk to women. And the last one is, do you believe that the highest version of you is a porn watcher? It's obviously a rhetorical question. Because the answer is no. The highest version of you respects himself. The highest version of you is going out there and pursuing beautiful women. The highest version of you knows what he needs to do and knows what he doesn't need to do and does those things or does not do those things. And porn is definitely not part of your highest version of you. So those are the perspectives that you need to tattoo into your new identity. And once you do tattoo those, it's a breeze, it's a walk in the park. Now I'm going to tell you how to tattoo those. The first thing is to be aware. So if you've watched this video till this point, congratulations. You've done step 1. You're already aware that you need to let go of this habit. The second one is acceptance. So don't shame yourself. Don't feel guilty. Just know that you are in this position because of all the habits that you've done up until this point. But if you want to get to the next level, you need to let go of the old self. Because you can't wear new clothes without throwing the old ones away. You can't buy new clothes until you clear out the wardrobe. You can't sit on 2 chairs at the same time. Or you could sit on one cheek. But you know what I mean. You cannot be the new version of yourself without letting go and killing the old version of yourself. You have to be a phoenix rising from the ashes. The third step is to envision that best version of you. Envision how he walks, how he talks, how he dresses, where he'll be living, everything, every single aspect. And one aspect of that is that he no longer is a slave to watching men fuck women on a screen. The fourth step is to have one last wank. One last masturbation. And I really condone this. I did this 2.5 years ago. I lit up a candle. I set up my Himalayan salt lamp. I picked my favorite video. I spent hours to find the perfect video because I knew it was going to be my last one. And I even took a picture of this experience. It's in my hidden files in my phone. But I guarantee you, if you just have one special last time and you're true to yourself, you're a man of your word, you really keep it as your last time, you're going to appreciate it more and it's going to be easier to let go. Fifth step is to start telling people. Start to speak things into existence. Because when you tell people, you're going to keep yourself more accountable. And the sixth one is to let go of all the Instagram models. Unfollow them, guys. Because I made this mistake of not unfollowing them. And a year ago, I didn't watch porn, but I was watching Instagram. Looking at Instagram, and I relapsed by masturbating to these videos. So I still count it as porn free. Maybe not softcore porn free, but hardcore porn free for 3 years, almost 3 years. But don't make the same mistake that I did. Unfollow all these Instagram models. If you still follow them, it's like buying a pack of chocolates when you're trying to lose weight and you put it right in front of you, in front of your computer, and you're like waiting there, oh, I'm not gonna eat the chocolates, I'm not gonna eat. Don't fucking do that. It's better to not have to force yourself to do the discipline, all right? So don't try to use discipline, okay? It's all about identity shifting. You wouldn't even have the chocolate there if you're trying to lose weight. So why would you be following the Instagram models? Unfollow them. And this is not just the ones that post bikini photos, not just the ones that fucking lick their lips. This is also the beautiful women that post videos of spirituality or whatever thing you're into, workout videos. If it's a really hot chick, and you gotta be really true to yourself, that you're only following this chick because she's really hot. Because I lied to myself multiple times as well. So unfollow all the hot chicks, okay? You don't need to be following hot chicks. Step number 7 is to delete your history one last time. And this is when you want to keep it clean. You want to keep this trash can clean. Because this is the last time, just like the last time that you masturbated, this is the last time that you're ever going to have to delete your history. Because let's be real, every time we delete our history, we are feeling guilty because we know that we're trying to hide something. So now you're going to have the clarity, the mindset where you just don't give a fuck that anyone's going through your phone, anyone's going through your Instagram search anymore, because you know that you're not doing anything shady. So that's the 7th one. The 8th one is that if you relapse, do not shame yourself. This is something I did so much and it just made me relapse even more. When I relapse, I'm like, oh fuck, I already relapsed, might as well just keep going, might as well keep wanking 3 times in the same day. But no, if you relapse, just tell yourself it's all good. It's just part of the journey. It's just getting me closer to never relapsing again. And give yourself that love. Give your inner child that love, especially that prepubescent version of yourself, that love. Number 9, the final step is to start doing the things that your future version, the best version of you, would be doing. Whether that be going to the gym, whether that be approaching women, whether that be eating healthy. And once you start to do the things that are associated with the new version of you, that old version of you is just going to start burning away. It's just going to start falling away. You won't have to force yourself. If you focus on creating the new you, you won't have to waste energy on trying to avoid the old you. So that's number 9, guys. I really, really hope this video is the last video you ever have to watch on quitting porn. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, click on the link down below, book a free call with me. And if you want to see more of content like this about how to be a better man, how to become the best version of yourself, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment down below, and be submissive to my channel. Peace.